What's up, YouTube, man? Welcome back to Man Down Sports, man. I appreciate y'all for clicking on the video. If you can do me a huge favor, hit that like button on your way in. If you're not subscribed, definitely go ahead and subscribe, and it also will help out if y'all go ahead and leave a comment. We appreciate that, man. It helps out the channel a whole lot. But to go ahead and get to what you clicked on the thumbnail for, Gilbert Arenas, Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's been a lot of people that's been having some things to say about Giannis and his game and where he stands at in the league as far as hierarchy. You know, we had Iguodalo say something a couple of months ago where that went crazy. I did a video on that talking about Rasheed Wallace and how skilled he was and how he probably would be better than Giannis if he played in today's game. You know, you can check that video out as well. I already done that. Had a whole bunch of dialogue with a couple of people making comments about it. You can go check that out. But you know, in a couple of years back, James Harden had something to say about Giannis as well. So here's yet another basketball player, and not just Gilbert Arenas. He had a guest on his podcast, which was Phil Handy, which is a well-known basketball trainer. He was well known before he even started working with the NBA teams. You know, out in the Oakland area. You know, he's legendary, man. He possibly, the way he's going, he possibly might end up, being a Hall of Famer as a trainer. I mean, he's that good, right? You know, he's worked with a lot of people, Kobe, LeBron, Cleveland Cavs staff, the Lakers staff, so he's legit. But they was having a conversation about, players in the league, and they had some interesting comments that they wanted to say. So I'm gonna go ahead and play what they said about several players, and kind of directed toward Giannis, but it was more Gilbert Arenas making a comment toward Giannis, and Phil Handy kind of co-signing a little bit. So I'm gonna play that, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna tell you what I think about the whole comment and why it's not as bad and disrespectful as people think it is. I'm gonna try to explain a little bit what Gilbert Arenas was trying to say and what other basketball players see when it comes to a player like Giannis. All right, so here's Phil Handy and Gilbert Arenas on Gilbert Arenas podcast.
People don't understand that separation. You talk about there's elite, and then there's a whole nother level. There's a gap, and people understand. Well, why? What separates them, man? Listen, I've learned what separates Bron. What separates guys like Kobe, Bron, the Kawhis, the KDs, or whatever in the world. It's the work that they put in, how meticulous they are with that work, relentless with that work, and there is a true gap.
There is
a true gap. I talk to people about that all the time. Yeah, there's elite, but then there's another level of elite in our league of what players look like.
And what's so funny is the media tries to shorten it.
They do.
They try to shorten this gap like it's this, like, oh, he's the best player in the league. Not even close. Stop. Just stop it. Just stop. Like, this gap is so big, but you're trying to always replace the next person by putting it back. Like his work, I can look at his game and say, he doesn't understand basketball yet. He plays the sport. He won a championship. Cool. He doesn't really understand how to be great, how to be better, how to train his body. Like, I'm looking at the stats. Oh, you're playing 32 minutes, 34 minutes, 30. I'm sorry, but to be here, you have to train your body to at least 38 minutes and above. Like LeBron.
So, very interesting comments. First, Phil Handy. So I'm gonna point out three things. First, what Phil Handy said was based on the guys he worked with, LeBron, Kobe, those guys, and he mentioned a couple of names. He said LeBron, Kobe, he said Kevin Durant, he said Kawhi, right? These are guys that are highly skilled and crafty, right? I'm talking about, these are guys who, when you look at where they get their points from, it can be from anywhere. They can post you up, they can take you off the dribble, they can get all the way to the rim, they can stop for a mid-range, they can stop and pop from three, they can get you on a fast break, they can get you off the ball, they all play defense, right? Like they're really good from the free throw line. They're good from three. They're good from mid range. It's just all over the floor. These are people who are perfecting their crafts. And I always use the analogy of a fighter or a boxer. You have maulers, you have knockout kings or knockout artists like a Deontay Wilder, and then you have very skilled, technically sound boxers like Mayweather, right? You is a difference between those two fighters. And when someone like Phil Handy point out Kobe, Kawhi, KD, he's pointing out players that are highly skilled and very technically sound, right? And one of the things he mentioned that wasn't on that soundbite, but I listened to the whole podcast. It was only a 23-minute interview. They need to have Phil Handy on for longer than that, but 23-minute interview. I listened to the whole thing, but he also talked about when he was working with Kobe, how Kobe would stay in one spot for 45 straight minutes and trying to master one pull-up jump shot from one particular area, because he's thinking about how they're going to guard him for the next season. He was always pushing his game forward and thinking about how the best defenders and the best teams were going to guard him, and that's how he would practice. He would say, okay, if I play San Antonio, this is the only shot that I'm probably going to get, and it's probably going to be 2 or 3 hands in my face when I get this shot. So he would practice dribble pull-ups from that one spot for a complete session, a whole 45-minute to an hour session, just one pull-up jump shot from one spot, right? Because he was trying to master it, right? So when you grab a guy like Kobe, KD, Kawhi, and you look at what they've mastered, it's very many things they've mastered. And then when you grab a guy like Giannis and look at what he's mastered, it's all heart, determination, mental toughness, grit, willpower. That's all the stuff you can't measure. But as far as what you went in the gym and mastered, there's not a lot of things that Giannis has mastered yet, right? So when you see Giannis in the gym working on his jump shot, he's wide open with a rebounder, rebounding his makes and misses and throwing it to him, and he's just getting multiple reps up. People like Kobe and KD and Carmelo, they were doing that in high school. Now they've perfected their jump shot to a level now where I'm practicing with 100%. I'm going 100% with a defender giving me 100% physicality and contesting every shot. Right? Giannis ain't even there yet. Giannis is still practicing wide open threes, just trying to get his repetition in and just trying to get his shot mechanics down. He hasn't got to the point where he's practicing with a hand in the face. Go and look at any of his practices that he's posting on working on his three. He's wide open on every last one of them. And rightfully so, because in the game, they're still giving him wide open threes because he's not a threat from there yet. He hasn't mastered it. I bet Kobe wished someone would back off of him 6 feet and give him a 3-pointer. I wish someone would back off of Kevin Durant and give him a 3-pointer. Right? That's what Giannis is facing on a game-to-game basis. A team saying, we're going to back off of you 4 feet and we're going to give you wide open jump shots and wide open threes. We're just not going to let you drive to the paint. Right? So that's why he was saying it's levels to it. It's a different level of elite. And someone like Phil Handy, who comes from a background of training where you're paying attention to the small details and he knows how to develop a player, right? Someone like Giannis, Gilbert Arenas, who also was very highly skilled and meticulous in how he trained. They're going to look at a player like Giannis and they're going to have a lot of respect for him because of what he's accomplished, how hard he plays, how dedicated he is, how much work he put in. They're going to respect all of that. But like they said, there's elite, and then there's another level of elite where the Kobe's and the KD's are at. So it's not disrespectful for them to point out that Giannis still has a gap to close, which he does. There's nothing wrong with saying that. We understand that he has achieved a lot and he hasn't never played on the super team, and he's won a championship. You know, he did it the hard way. He stayed with his small market team. That's all fine and dandy. We can celebrate for him for that. But I mean, what do we gain by saying someone like Giannis is better than Kevin Durant? like seriously, like Kevin Durant has perfected his craft in so many different areas. Giannis hasn't perfected anything yet, except hustle. Right? Same thing with Westbrook. Someone like Kyrie, Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, they're always going to be better than Russ. Right? What Russ can do is hustle, force his way to the rim. He's pretty much the same thing that Giannis is. A lot of grit, determination, hustle, attitude. He's all of that. But much like I seen Giannis practicing wide open threes during the summer, all summer long, that's what he's working on. Last summer, when Westbrook was posting his workouts before he put on the Laker uniform, he was in there with a trainer with pads on, knocking the trainer off, driving to the hole and knocking the trainer down to get dunks. Why would I want my 6'3" point guard in his 12th or 13th year going in the gym practicing dunks all summer? Like seriously, that's the best video you could post of you driving to the hole for a dunk. Come on, man. You gotta be practicing something more I don't know, next level than that, something more, way more advanced. Right. So like, I guess the way for me to sum this up is, if I was to say that someone like Giannis or someone like Westbrook has mastered something in the game, they have mastered the most elementary part of basketball that you can master, and that is, if you're faster than the guy, beat him to the hole and get a layup or a dunk. That's the most elementary part. The kid that learns how to dribble first as a youngster, who is the fastest with the ball, who's coordinated enough to make layups. That's the kid that has an advantage when we're young. He's faster. Even if he's bigger, faster, stronger, we can't stop him from getting layups at all. Right? But then once everyone starts to mature, and the physicality, kind of evens out, now we got to see who's the most skilled. Right? Now, if you're an elite athlete like Westbrook was and like Giannis is, you can get all the way to college with your elite athleticism. And if you very elite, you can get to the pros with just your elite athleticism. And for Giannis and for Westbrook, they even became all-stars with just their elite athleticism, a little bit of skill. Right? So so that's the first thing I wanted to point out. What Phil Handy was saying, he said is levels to the eliteness. Yes, Giannis is elite, but there's a few guys that goes beyond it, right? Because they're so skilled at what they do, because they put the work in. That's what Phil Handy said. The second thing I want to point out, which I disagree with, is the example that Gilbert Arenas used when he was talking about Giannis playing only 32 minutes a game and how he doesn't know how to play basketball yet, and he hasn't trained his body enough. I mean, ain't nobody more in shape than Giannis in the league, probably. Maybe LeBron, and a couple of other guys. Giannis is good to go. So that was the wrong example for Gilbert Arenas to use to try to go to his body and his conditioning. I don't think that's the issue for Giannis. The issue for Giannis is the things that you can go in the gym and practice, and which he's working on. He's not a lazy guy, so he's working on it. It's just he's so far behind because the things he's working on is the things that these super elite guys have almost perfected before they before they came in the league, especially someone like Kevin Durant. Man, his jump shot mechanics and all of that stuff was set from the time he stepped on an NBA court. Kobe's to a certain extent was as well. He wasn't strong enough to be the 3-point shooter he wanted to be, but his shot mechanics, he didn't have to change much. It was already perfected. He was already putting that work in, right? With Giannis having to be a late bloomer and put out in the hard work, his shot mechanics just not there. It's still not there. He's working like tirelessly hard during the summer and the off season to get a consistent jump shot, to get a fluent jump shot, to get his shot mechanics down. You know, it's totally different, man. So I just, you know, I think that's something that I wanted to point out, man. And, you know, it's not disrespectful what they're saying. I disagree with the example Giannis, Gilbert Arenas used, but you got to understand what Gilbert Arenas and Phil Handy is trying to point out. He's trying to point out the skill level of just certain guys, not a lot of guys. It's just certain guys like KD, Kawhi, Kyrie, Steph, you know, those guys that go beyond the elite level of Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know, so let me know what you think in the comments, man. Like always, man, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment as well, man. And catch y'all next time. Peace.